Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's day has been filled with love and light, and I hope that your day is absolutely magical just as you are. And speaking of magical, what I wanted to talk about today are the new generations coming in and the children that we raise and that we mentor and parent, and how trying to fit them into a society that is out of balance and leans towards the toxic ego, um, how we can get caught up with labels and judgment, and instead of finding ways to enrich these kids and nourish these kids, and we would rather slap labels on them, such as ADHD or ADD or whatever the label may be. I don't think we're getting to the root cause of these issues, and I think we're letting our own judgments and our own fears um, make some of the decisions for these children, and what a disservice as adults that we're doing to these kids, because these kids coming in and coming onto this earth are more evolved souls. They're closer to the divine than our programmed adult minds, and so often we take these kids that are bored with our broken education system, and they're bored with old paradigms that we tried to fit them into. We label them as dysfunctional, whether it be mental health or behavioral stuff. And a lot of times with these children, it's the environment that they're in is creating the product that we see. And with the ADD and the ADHD especially, I see so many kids coming through our court system and our building that I work at with these diagnoses, and it's really disheartening because a lot of these kids are taking 2, 3, 4 different prescription medications for a few symptoms, or a symptom cluster, and it's really sad because we are taking them away from their connection to source, and slapping limiting labels on these children instead of figuring out that they don't learn the way that the factory workers that we were trained to be through the education system, and the collective education is no longer working, because these kids are more evolved souls that are coming onto this earth. And it's so important as adults to recognize, especially if you have children, that some of these old paradigms aren't necessarily working. Big Pharma is looking to create customers, not health. If we were trying to really let these kids be as healthy as possible in our society, we would recognize that the food that we're feeding these kids is absolute shit. The education system is shit. These kids are bored. No wonder they can't sit still in class for 6, 7 hours at a time. It's time to revamp some of these systems and do away with these old mindsets and start to think outside of the box. And especially as a parent, and speaking as a father, going through times of my daughter's 13 now, so really evolving as a parent, and recognizing old paradigms within myself and old mindsets within myself that are no longer working as a father. And I'm grateful that I'm able to be aware, and I'm grateful that I co-parent with 3 wonderful women that are aware of the same thing. But it's it's something as adults that we should be looking into, and instead of forcing it on the kids and wondering why they don't fit into the systems that we're putting forward. So if you have a child that's having trouble in school, having behavioral issues, let's let's be more mindful of the limiting labels that we're putting on these children, and try to think outside of the box of how we could entertain their minds and different ways that we can keep their mind occupied in healthy manners, and be mindful of the food that they're ingesting. Of course, every kid loves junk food. It tastes good as hell, but what are we doing for their growth, their mental growth, their physical growth, and their spiritual growth? We're shoving all these chemicals and all this shit in their body, and it's disconnecting them from source and disconnecting them from the spiritual world. And what a disservice we're doing. We're killing their imagination. We're telling them imaginary friends aren't real. You know, it's really disheartening to hear some of the shit that I hear parents say, and I hear go on in the place that I work. And it's really, if you have those feelings towards kids, I challenge you to really look within yourself, and you know, whether it was a limiting belief that adults had for you when you were a child, or limiting beliefs that has come from jaded experiences as a child or even as an adult. Challenge you to really ask yourself, why are you putting these limiting labels on these children, rather than thinking of a different route to take this child, because we're all different, and these children are beautiful, pure souls that are entrusted to us and that have chosen us. And you know, a lot of adults don't understand that these souls that come in after us as our children have chosen us not only to evolve for themselves, but to help teach us lessons about ourselves as well. So the soul evolution goes both ways. So just when you think you are your child's teacher, your child is just as much your teacher, or should be. If you can check your ego at the door and be honest with yourself, and be mindful of your actions and your thoughts that are triggered from your child, whether your child's acting out or you know, doing really well. The emotions that are triggered by your child is a reflection of what you have going on within you. So as adults, it's important to be mindful of that. So I love you guys, and I love our children, and the future of this earth, and all the beautiful souls that are coming and incarnating on this earth depend on us as adults. So it's time to wake the hell up and realize that these old paradigms are crumbling, and it's crumbling our mental health. It's crumbling our physical health, especially in America. You know, the obesity rates are, it's disgusting to say, really, but the obesity rates, damn, it's sickening. And it's time for change, and it's got to come quick. Our awareness, our mindfulness of not just ourselves, you know, so many people are so unaware of anything outside of themselves, to the point where you hold a door open for somebody and they don't even acknowledge that you exist. They just walk through the door, and it's really sad. And then we're cheating ourselves of connection and the true beauty of life. So just be aware, especially if you have children or plan on having children. Be mindful of the old paradigm and the old mindset that you carried. Is it really conducive to the evolution of not only your children and your lineage, but for humanity as a whole? So just food for thought. You know, trying to fit brand new pieces into an old broken machine isn't always the best answer, and we're wondering why the hell it's not working. So I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed evening. Sending out love and light. I'm grateful for you guys, and I'm grateful for my beautiful family and my beautiful children, and also wonderful books that confirm things that come to me in divine messages or in meditation. The one I'm reading now, only about 50 pages in, but it's a really good parenting book. It's called Your Psychic Child, and it talks about spiritually gifted children and how we can be mindful of these kids' gifts, because the evolution of humanity is upon us. It is. And that's why all these things are coming to the surface. All the dark happenings are coming to the surface. Government is in shambles. Big Pharma is, everybody sees Big Pharma. Everybody sees the insurance companies, and it's all a money grab. And these things are starting to be what is the word I'm looking for? They're starting to be recognized by the masses, for lack of a better word, at the moment. So I'm grateful for that as well, because change is upon us, and whatever I can do to shine my light to accelerate that process, I'm going to do. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful evening.